Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Now, let's talk about Uber headquarters. We actually don't talk about Uber headquarters much because Uber headquarters, believe it or not, is this kind of mysterious thing. It is a building in San Francisco. If you walk by it, it looks perfectly normal. It's got the company logo and all that stuff, but if you kind of hang around there for a little while, you'll notice a few strange things. First of all, there's always security guards outside watching for something. Now, security guards in and of themselves are not a big deal. Most, buildings have them. But the security guards are usually on the inside. In the case of the Uber building, the security guards are on the outside. Very strange. And the other thing is that you don't see too many people walking into the building. In fact, if you stand there long enough, you could probably be there hours upon hours before anyone even remotely approaches the building in an attempt to go in. And even then, if you see someone attempt to go in the building, they will be turned away by the security guards that are stationed outside. If you use binoculars to look inside, you can see that there is a desk there with a receptionist, but the receptionist doesn't seem to do anything. It's very, very weird. In fact, me and my friend Dark Road Run, we've kind of joked, it's almost kind of like the Willy Wonka thing, where it's like, we feel like the old guy standing outside the building going like, nobody ever goes in and nobody ever comes out. It's really, really strange. And if you are ever in San Francisco, I dare you, go to the building, just kind of hang out across the street, though. They don't like it if you hang out near the building. Like, if you stand next to the building, the security guards will ask you to just move along. But if you go across the street and just kind of observe, you'll see that there's just something a little off about this place. Well, there was a protest in San Francisco on Friday. Yeah, really, Uber drivers actually came together and protested. And as part of the protest, they actually got a petition signed. Now, we don't know exactly what was in the petition. At least I haven't read what was in the petition. Chances are it was a few demands for the drivers to be treated better. And it looked like they got a lot of signatures because there was a fairly big stack. It was pretty big. And when they tried to go into the building to deliver the petition, well, this is what happened.
Watch out, watch out.
And that's just very, very, very unfortunate. Now, I'm going to have to give Uber just some benefit of the doubt here. First of all, it should be noted there was a protest. Protests have a tendency to get ugly. And so when security guards see a bunch of people walking towards a building wanting to get in, well, yeah, that doesn't always end well. So security guards do have the right to try to stop people. And if they were walking up towards, say, the CEO of Uber, I could understand them being a little on the apprehensive side. However, here's the thing. The protesters were actually fairly peaceful. I've seen a lot of protests on YouTube, particularly because I watch a lot of political news commentator channels, and they could be a lot worse. These protesters were actually pretty civil, all things considering. And the unfortunate thing is, when this guy walked in with a petition, he was walking very calmly. He wasn't aggressive. Chances are he would have handed the petition to the receptionist and would have been on his merry way. The fact that the security guard decided it was necessary to not only say no, if you saw that clip, they were telling other people, no, you can't go in. And they stopped and they talked to the guards. And they were like, why? This guy opened the door, was walking in, and he was pulled out and tackled. And by the way, apparently he has a dislocated shoulder and stuff. Now, that's what you don't see in the video. This guy was very badly hurt. So that is already bad. There's another reason why this is even worse. We'll talk about that later. In the meantime, the media has definitely been having a field day with this because the media is finally, I think, coming to our side and realizing, yeah, we've been getting screwed all these years. And while they were complaining about Travis Kalanick's, parties and his boober comments and the fact that they don't always fact check, do proper background checks on the drivers. They're realizing that there was an element where the drivers were getting screwed for years, and stuff like this is definitely making them realize that. Also, what is interesting is Uber's response to the matter. They have actually said that they don't hire security guards. Like, this is not their security guard. They contract the security guards from another company, which is really funny because it's like, oh, so does everyone who work at Uber, are they all independent contractors? Are the secretaries and the receptionists, are they do they get hired through shift gig, and can they be deactivated anytime? The customer service, are they outsourced, and does Uber not? It's kind of funny because Uber has actually built a pretty good business of, because everyone's contracted, when something bad happens, oh no, it's not our people. We just contracted them, and we can deactivate them at any time. That doesn't look good for a number of reasons. But here's probably the reason most people are talking. And I think this is what it really is. Aside from the fact that this seemed totally unnecessary, and it was brutal, and it was just mean. There's no other way to say it. It was just mean and unnecessary. But this does not look like a company that listens to their drivers. First of all, things are bad enough that there's actually a protest. And trust me, I have encouraged people to strike and protest for years. Do you honestly think people do it? No. The fact that we actually had people protesting in America means that things have gotten pretty darn bad. That means Uber's relationship with the drivers is complete mud at this point. But here's the thing. Uber always, in all these things, say, we are getting better at listening to the drivers. We are getting better. We are taking their feedback. We want their feedback. We want to improve. And last week, they have taken away the ability. They changed the terms of service so that you can't use their name in any of your YouTube social media stuff or whatever. And, that's kind of understandable. But they also said that, we're going to limit how many times you can use referral code and who you can give it to. And I think Mark from Uber Hints, although maybe he won't be Uber Hints for much longer, said it best that he didn't really feel like he was much of a partner in that. Now, we'll talk more about my further position on the referral code in the future. But when you take that, and now you come to this, where Uber security is literally tackling people to prevent them from handing a petition to Uber that is essentially feedback. This is what they want, and this is how many of them want it, and how many people think they should consider it. That Uber felt it necessary, or their contracted security guard, or whoever, to tackle this person and prevent this information from getting to them in the first place, that sends a very, very strong message that no, they don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't want to hear from you. You watch something like that and you just wonder, am I really a partner in this? Do you really care what I have to say? Do you really have an interest in hearing me? Do you really want my feedback? Because here's the thing. We are now actually giving you feedback, and we are giving a lot of it. A lot of it, because that petition is probably at least a few pages long of demands of things that they want, with who knows how many pages of signatures that they had to get by hand. It wasn't a Change.org petition, as far as I am aware. I believe that was a petition that people had to actually sign themselves. And so they're taking this petition, and this is an old guy. It's not even a young kid. It's an older gentleman. He's going to walk in, he's going to put it on the desk, and he's going to say, please hand this to Dara Karashahi or whoever's in charge. And in all fairness, they probably would have just thrown the petition away. So it's probably good that he didn't even get that far, because what they caught on camera is way more valuable than actually delivering that petition. They caught on camera Uber's determination, what they will do to make sure you don't give them feedback, to make sure that you don't tell them how much they are treating you miserably. They have gone out of their way to show what they really think about you. You are not a partner. You are not even an Uber driver. You're not even human to these people. You're not. You know what you are? You're meat. You are meat. And if you dare try to give us any suggestions on what we could do better, we will literally pull you out of the building and we will throw you to the ground and we will tackle you. We will dislocate your shoulder. That's what this video says. Now, is that the actual values of the company? Well, for legal purposes and practical purposes, of course, I have to say no. Chances are this was just an overzealous security guard, if we're being completely honest. And I'm sure Uber's kind of looking at that and going like, damn it. Damn it. You know what? Here we are trying to convince people that we're good guys, and you're actually showing us that we're worse than how they think of us. What are you doing? They're probably sitting there thinking about that. But that doesn't change the fact that the video's out there. And you know what? I wonder how Uber's going to respond to this. I know Dara's going to say, well, that individual's not with us anymore, and that doesn't reflect our values. But you know what? At some point, people are going to have to actually ask, well, what are your values? Because you say you care about the drivers, but you don't pay them good. You say the drivers are partners, and that you don't give them equity in the company, although we will talk about that later this week. You don't give them benefits. You don't even pay them minimum wage in most cases. And they say, oh, we want to hear what the drivers think. And yet, after all that listening, instead of a pay raise, you redesign an app that we didn't want, and you tackled an old guy to the ground to prevent him from giving you feedback. I don't know. I wonder how they're going to explain this one away. I truly am curious about that. And now I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you think Uber has like another PR disaster? Do you think they're going to be able to talk their way out of this one? What do you think of the footage? I would love to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoyed these videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping this channel run smoothly. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.